Welcome to Freelance Talks. Here we discuss the dark side of freelancing about which nobody usually talks out loud. In this show, we speak with experienced freelancers, and I'm sure listening to their stories helps you prepare for freelancers' challenges. My name is Yuri, I'm a community builder at Code Control and 9am.works, and my guest is Nick Raeburn, a freelance social selling coach, keynote speaker, and video consultant with over 20 years of experience who turned social storytelling and sales into an exciting fantasy journey and helps people slay their revenue dragons. So, welcome, Nick.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
The easiest question for you: what
Yeah.
is the most challenging part of being a freelancer?
I think probably, freelancer and a business owner is definitely time constraints. There are my time and commitment is drawn in so many places, like inside my community and delivering training and delivering workshops for clients. So yeah, it's definitely time commitment, and choosing the right people to work with in order to fill some of those blocks where you've got time constraints. But I do think that like I couldn't have built what I've built 5 years ago. The ability for, so we have like one of the things we have in our community is a weekly riddle contest. And I use ChatGPT to create the riddles for me. I use AI for a lot of reasons, like to create some of the artwork for the back end community and all that kind of stuff. So those tools, 5 years ago, those tools didn't exist. So it takes some of the time and the stress off me in terms of the creation side of stuff, and it enables me to, because of AI, that barrier of like what's in my head, I can get out onto a page and it's real within seconds. It's blows my mind. It's phenomenal.
Talking about time constraints, so how do you prioritize things?
That's that's still a work in progress. So yeah, I try and go through and figure out what things are taking up the most of my time, and what things are actually creating results in the business and are directly attributable to revenue. And then I try and go through that as much as I can on a weekly basis. I time block stuff as well, try and look at where my time's most focused, and then stuff that I'm doing that maybe isn't kind of directly serving the company, but still needs to be done from an admin level. I'll hand that stuff off to my VA. So I definitely need to get better at that in terms of where my time's being focused. And I know, ironically, I need to be more have more time constraints around making sure that I do that every single week as well. So some weeks I'll do it, some weeks I don't. Yeah, it's that's definitely the biggest one for me, is just figuring out where my time and energy is being put and focused. So.
Have you ever thought that AI can take your job?
No, I haven't. I don't think we're there yet, and I think I do genuinely believe that it's enabling me to create communities. The community that we're building genuinely feels like a community to me, and that people are happy to share knowledge, and there's genuine empathy and human connection there. We're organising a meetup in the next couple of months, so that we can actually all meet each other in real life. And I don't think AI is there. I think we're seeing a shift in. I always believe in kind of sort of power dynamics, and I think the whole AI thing is kind of you're starting to kind of get a split or fragmentation where people genuinely desire more deeper, richer human connection as a sort of backlash to the AI response. So no, I don't think specific types of jobs, maybe if there's a high level of automation or data entry, then potentially, but anything that requires building and developing and maintaining human relationships, then no, we're not there yet. Maybe in a decade or 20 years time, maybe, but we're not there. We're not there
Now,
yet.
who knows? Who knows? You never know. And for me personally, AI feels like we are trading horses for cars, but we still have to walk.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Good analogy. I like that one.
what is the most time-consuming thing you must deal with as a freelancer, except for work itself?
Time consuming thing. I guess the biggest thing that takes up a lot of my time at the moment is the community. Really, is kind of focusing on how we can kind of improve that and tweak it, making sure that we're getting feedback all the time from people that are in the community. So that is a large part of my focus and attention, and where a lot of my energy is going at the moment is on the community, figuring out how we can make it better, and how we get more people in there, and make it a much richer experience for people that are in there. So that's it. Just feels like out of all the things that I built, that's definitely the biggest kind of mountain to climb in terms of we're just constantly tweaking things and speaking to people and trying to improve things and add things and take things away. So it's this, it feels like trying to build a house on quicksand. You're just like, wow. Yeah.
What the hell's happening?
Yeah.
How do you ask for feedback?
We send out things like questionnaires for people in the community. I'm trying to go through a process now as well that anyone that joins, I try and jump on a quick call with them just to get a bit of feedback in terms of how they're experiencing the community and what they're getting from it, and showing them some of the stuff in the community as well. So obviously that becomes unmanageable when we get to potentially hundreds of sign-ups, but at the moment, I'm trying to learn as much as I can from the people that are signing up. I want as much rich feedback as I can. We'll probably end up automating that process to a certain degree, but I'm a sucker for talking. I like talking to other human beings, so I'm quite happy to do that at this stage.
How do you decide what to build next? So you've got your feedback, so you have a list of things to do. How you decide what to act on?
That's a really good question, and it's not always obvious. I think sometimes you can be like, data can sometimes lie in terms of like, you think, oh, okay, well, people want, so one of the things that really sticks out to me was when I was building the community originally, we had a 2-hour skill session. So we'd have 3 people doing these skill sessions, and then people fed back to me. So I was like, well, I'm giving people 2 hours of our time, and they're learning tons of stuff, and people are feeding back going, it's too much time. Like, we haven't got time during the day to commit to this. So whereas I thought we were adding a ton of value to them, the community was actually coming back and going, well, it's too much. It's like, hold on a minute, you want to pay the same amount of money, but you want less input. Like, that would have never have computed with me in terms of but until you hear the feedback from the people in the community, which made complete sense. But and that's why you've got to get as much feedback and be in that continual feedback loop with your audience and the people that you're interacting with, and find out what's working and what's not. And it's not always immediately obvious. Sometimes the analogy I use is like, it's a bit like building a massive clock, and you're bringing all these little cogs in, and there's one tiny little cog that's missing, and as soon as that cog goes in, it's like the whole thing just starts up and starts working. So it's just trying to find where those little tiny little missing cogs are. It's that can be really hard.
It's interesting that you have this experience, because I'm talking to other community builders, and it's something that people are really struggling in really good communities, that they have so much things happening, they have so much content, so much value, that it just overwhelms them, and they're like, now I can do this. It's just too much. Stop pushing on me. And I feel like that's a really good feedback. Just do things like step by step. Do it like not really fast, but constantly. And I feel like that's what's really helpful.
That's something we tried to do in the community as well, is that not to overwhelm people when they kind of first come in. So we have time gated stuff. We have stuff where they reach, so they have to interact and comment to reach certain levels, and when they get to certain levels, they unlock new components in the community. So that's been really useful. But there's the big kid in me is always kind of thinking like, so I thought about having a thing on my birthday, like once a year, where one day a year on my birthday, a specific component of the community kind of unlocks, and it's like a portal, and they get access to all this stuff. But we're not going to, I've let it out of the bag now. So we're not going to tell them that happens. It just this thing just like pops up. It's like, oh, what's this? Like, where did that come from? So
hopefully they won't listen to this episode.
We'll cut that bit out.
So what is the most nerve-wracking thing that you must deal with as a freelancer?
Nerve-wracking thing, I guess Yeah, I guess you're responsible for. I guess it's the pressure of being responsible for a lot of people. So, you're responsible for your clients, you're responsible for community, the people you employ, my family. I've got bills and mortgages to pay. So yes, I guess it's the pressure of kind of responsibility and making sure that you're delivering for all of those people, and making sure that you're looking after yourself enough so that you can look after those people. Because that's one of the biggest things I see is people just completely destroying themselves and completely burning out because of all this stuff they have to do. And it's you have to put boundaries in place, you have to delegate, you have to learn to be to look after yourself. Otherwise you can't serve those people in the best way possible.
What is one thing you do to not destroy yourself?
Morning walks. They are my. I think that I'm, as I said to you before, I'm a wizard. Every wizard needs a ritual, and that is my morning ritual. I will go for a walk first thing in the morning, before most people are up, and just blast along the seafront. And it just clears my head and gives me space to kind of approach the day and kind of get tasks done. And it almost creates like a little kind of force field around me. It's like I've carved out this space for myself first thing in the morning where no one else is in my world, and it just allows you. I think so many people wake up and they're like, smash a cup of coffee, they're straight into doing work, and it's like, or they're on a commute, and there's no, they don't give themselves any space to just be with their thoughts.
Yeah.
That's what my walk allows me to do. It gives me that space and time to just be with my own thoughts, which is, I think it's a small thing, but it's super super important.
As a freelancer, do you ever feel professional loneliness?
Yeah, I do, and that's a massive component of why I built a community. In fact, that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I built a community, because now I've got other people around me that feel like I do, and maybe went on the same journey that I did. So I've got a little family there that I can interact with, and yeah, helps me not feel as lonely. So that was a large driver for building that community.
No, it's interesting. Out of people I know who I meet, that if I'm asking about like feeling lonely, there are three types of people. First types of like you who build their own communities. Second are people who join some communities, and third people who are still struggling with loneliness.
Yeah,
So usually when people are feel like, oh yeah, I'm feeling it's like build your community or join some kind of other community. And
yeah,
that's how you deal with it.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's not that obvious, and I'm really happy that you are talking about this. And if your friend wanted to become a freelancer, what are top three things you'd advise them to consider before doing it?
Really think about the fact that you're like, if you're going to be doing this for a long time, you need to be passionate about it, because there's going to be days where you don't feel like you can kind of go on, and it sucks, and you've got bills to pay, and stuff's gone wrong. So you better be damn passionate about it for the long term, the long game. Look after yourself as well. Like I said, making sure that you're prioritizing your health and your fitness and your mental well-being is super important to serve the people that you can. Find a mentor, find a sounding board, or a business partner, or a VA, someone that you can kind of sound off to and share stuff with, because it can be lonely. And sometimes partners, your partners don't necessarily want to talk about this stuff. They don't want to talk about business. So find someone that you can confide in, and just share the journey with a little bit, and that will help unburden some of the stuff that's up here.
I wish to have the sky's the limit, but time is the limit. So the final question: if you were starting freelancing today, what is one thing you would have done differently?
One thing I would have done differently. I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have done anything differently. I think the pain and the struggle and the journey that I've been on and all of the things that I've learned have got me to this point where I am today. So, no, I wouldn't change a thing.
That's how you say that you're a sucker for pain. But also,
Yeah.
what doesn't kill us makes us
Based
stronger.
on-
So I totally get it. And yeah, Nick, thank you so much for sharing your experience and for having such an open conversation.
A pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, hit the like button, 5 stars, and share it with your friend. That's it. We're done. See you in the next episode.